developments, and they're eventually going to put a bridge over the Waccamaw, and that's going to make me 15 minutes from the beach. It's like
Ah,
that's only going to help.
it
What
will.
they built a school. They built they're building the neighborhood up around me. It's like where I live at's now becoming desirable, where it used to be like somewhere back toward the swamp.
There's a big subdivision popping up not far from my house, and I see it, and I'm like, cool. It's like one less plot of land I'll have to compete with someday when maybe I sell. I don't know. Jackie
Right.
never wants to sell. Jackie wants to. So my parents don't live in a really big house, and it became something of an obstacle to visit them. You know, you go and it's 4 people. In addition to them, so that's 6 people all cramming into a house that's not that big, and just like no one ever has any room or like space to exist. And small spaces, I think, kind of breed conflict. You put too many fish in the tank, and they fight each other. And Jackie thinks that this place, with its pool and its guest house and such, could just be a grandchild magnet, and that's what she would like.
How do you feel about the pool?
I love my pool. I dig it in a big way. My chat's telling me to add El Presidor.
Every time,
Fuck El Presidor. Fuck that guy. He's the cat lady of YouTube. El Presidor does nothing but take. That guy's a taker. He doesn't do anything good. El Presidor could suck my giant cock, which is surely bigger than his.
tell El Presidor we will add him when he can read one full page of a Harry Potter book. Half-page bullshit. He's got to go somewhere in the middle.
El Prestador was like talking shit about people in between saying that he doesn't have enough money to get the transmission on his car fixed. Suck that guy. Or fuck that guy, I meant to say. Just let him figure out his own life. He's not invited on my stream.
El Presidor loves to hate on me, but it's like I only really have one debt in my life now, and it's an automobile.
Mm-hmm.
And I have disposable income. I'm married, and he's like in his 50s alone with like a transmissionless Dodge Charger. Are you really hating on me?
Arian Foster wants to join us. We should get him on.
To talk to him.
Say that again?
I'd love to talk to Arian Foster.
Dude, Arian Foster. I
I've
was
seen him.
all wrong about him. Before I knew him, before I knew anything, I just assumed he was a dumb jock because he was a professional football player. And you quickly learn that that is not the case. Oh, shit. Oh, this is your Twitch chat. Your general and your nothing private. Good. Goddamn. Sharing Discord is bad. Take it from me. But how do I add? I want to add Arian Foster. Let me see. Is he live streaming right now?
Is he actively wanting to get in our chat, or are you guys trying to just
Ooh, that's a good question.
root him in here? Well, I seen a clip the other day where he was on like this Fox News thing. And had some like blonde chick that was like trying to like lambaste him with questions, and he took every question with elegance. I was like, it's a guy I'd like to know.
All right, I'm having a boomer moment. Need to add. All right, I sent Arian a Discord friend request.
My Discord is a little. To give me his name, I can move him in because like my Discord, just locked down.
So I'm gonna join Arian's call, and then I'm gonna invite you.
Okay.
Mic check, mic check. All right, I fucked up something. I clicked join. Did I click it too slow? What did I do? Oh, wait.
Woody.
Hey, how are you?
What's good, brother?
Not much, man. So I was with Wings of Redemption. We've talked about him on the show before.
Oh, I'm well aware of Wings, my brother.
Let me get him added.
Okay, but let me turn my cam off real quick.
All right. So, forgive me, I'm a Discord boomer trying to figure out how to add wings to our call.
Unsure.
Oh, good. I'm not alone.
Yeah, unsure, man. I guess the same way you added him. I mean, the same way you added me.
You called me.
Just
right?
no, I accepted your friend request and it said join video call.
Oh, that's interesting. I thought you accepted the friend request and started the call.
Nah. Okay, so I think what we do is we add him to this little chat we got going on here.
I'm trying. So
somebody actually chat. Somebody definitely knows how to do that shit.
Yeah, for sure.
This is what it's
Woody, top right of call.
I legit never watch you stream, but
And then
I
I think you gotta
randomly
turn
chose
your
it today. This is
camera
so
on
gold.
because all I see is me right now.
All right, I can do that for you. Okay.
There you go.
And it said add friends to DM. So I sent Wings a friend request, but I didn't but he didn't I didn't realize I don't use Discord outside of PKA very much. So we weren't friends. So chat, tell Wings to accept my friend request.
How y'all wasn't friends, man? Y'all been kicking it for years, Woody.
Dude, I literally use Discord for just Tarkov and PKA. That's why. But you're right. Look, we're getting that remedied.
I got you. My bad. How's your night, my brother?
It's good, man. I'm just live streaming, doing my thing. My chat told me to call Wings, so I did. And then there we are.
That's dope of you, though.
It's the same. I did it a year ago. I don't do it all the time, but
I mean, yeah, of course.
I'll do it. Man, I'm feeling this like pressure. Like we got hundreds or 1,000 people watching us.
That's a
not
lot.
do this
That's
well. There's 1,000 people.
I mean, I don't know enough about this. I know how to like. He has to be a friend for sure. Like if you invite him in.
Yeah. So he needs to accept the friend request, and that I can't. Can I send it again?
Yeah, you can send it again. They can. I mean, I'm positive your chat would spam his chat of wherever he's at, and they'd be like, "Yo, accept Woody's friend request." Because that's how they did you. They was like, "Yo, Woody's streaming." And I was like, "Go check it out." So I checked it out, and then they started spamming your chat, and I was like, "Yeah, I ain't had to do that, man. I was just checking the chat out."
All right, so I think he accepted it because I was able to DM him, and my DMs are like kind of locked down. Like you can't just write me. Okay, he said he accepted it. So now I'm trying to add him to our call. Oh, damn it. This is going to happen.
All right.
We did it. We just need Arian to pick up, and I'm sure he will.
Am I cutting out to you?
Early you were.
It's like
they crashed me out, and I'm here now.
I think a lot of it's the like little sound gate here.
That could be. Do it.
Because like when I'm running Discord, like I have a noise gate on OBS, and Discord has its own built-in noise gate, and they kind of conflict with each other.
You got a camera, my brother?
Yeah.
I think you have to deactivate like your, I don't know if you're like on Streamlabs or OBS or whatever the case may be. You have to deactivate it there.
I mean, I'm kind of live streaming right now.
Yeah, but they'll be able to see your screen from Discord.
So he wants you to deactivate your camera on OBS.
So I had to deactivate my camera in Streamlabs, and then that will, because you can't have a DSLR camera. I learned this the hard way, but you can have a DSLR camera open in two separate programs. Like it only does one for whatever reason. I'm sure there's a technical reason. All right. Woody with the deep breath. What's up, my brother?
No, I am screen sharing our Discord, which I set up quick and dirty, which means don't type anything privately. Sometimes the text is used private messages. Not private, bros. You need to know your level of exposure. You're exposed. So, Arian, no racist talk out of you, all right?
I'm not racist, my
That's
dog.
a joke. That's a joke, bro. Because I fucked up. It's a callback to 2 years ago.
You gotta check that on you, family.
Yeah, all right. That's
I
the
speak
joke.
for the rest of chat.
We good money,
We want
man.
Arian on this.
I'm trying to get my camera to come over here, like
So what program do you use to stream with?
OBS. Like, but I
Okay.
have like 2 different scenes set up with the camera in it, so I've cut them both off.
Either
now.
one, either one will work. So if you just go to like a cam and you click the profile or the properties of that cam and then you deactivate it, that should cut it off altogether. Woody, we never properly addressed that, man.
You want
This is
to?
a great forum to do so, man.
Dude, that was a learning experience for me.
Right.
I thought that if you very clearly ended it with an A, that you were somehow in the clear. And I also thought that
What gave you that impression is my question. Like, how did that come about to be? If I say it like this, it's all good.
so, but I mean, haven't you heard that before? I don't know. Like, I feel like that's a part
No.
of popular culture. You've never heard that.
No, I've definitely heard it before, right? I guess there's.
How
Go
do
ahead,
I
brother.
turn my camera? Oh, I'm in the wrong tab here. How do I turn my camera on here? Like I tested it's good.
Oh, wait.
Oh,
You got
there
it,
you go.
Wings.
Bam. There we
Yeah.
go.
Did it.
We
All
good
right.
money. We good
All
money.
right.
Wings, my
This is
brother.
what
It's a
it
pleasure to
sounds
meet
like
you, my
to
brother. I've heard a lot
Hey,
about you.
bud.
Clearly,
Probably
you
from
did not
Kyle.
see the last one. We want
Nah, from the
Arian.
whole cast, man.
Capitalize on this moment.
There we go.
High T energy only.
Can I say this beforehand? This is my personal Discord, and like I don't know any of these people here. These are people that decide to message me, so like don't look at them in my message box like I talk to these people.
What? We're just in a
That's
private
all.
call, Wings.
It's all good. It's just me, you, and Woody,
gotta-
man.
I
Don't worry about nobody else.
I'm live streaming to like 700 people, but like I'm screen sharing my Discord, and it's got like all these messages over here on the left hand side.
Oh, we can't see that.
Yeah, we don't see
Yeah.
that.
But my chat
No, I-
can.
So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they let them do their thing, man.
let's address that. I would like that.
Let's do
So,
it.
Wings, if you don't know, here's the background. Oh, Wings, you know it. It was partly about you. So you were on your weight loss journey. And then I think the guy was EDP, right? Was it Eat That Pussy who offered to help you? Am I mixing my people up? And
Yes, that was right.
yeah, so this guy offered to help you on your weight loss journey. And I remember, right, you pretty much said F you. And this guy came back.
I
Go ahead.
I didn't say F you.
Okay.
Well, I might have. Because I was fed up with like people. I was fed up with people constantly bringing it up because at that point I'd already had like plane
This is what
tickets
it sounds
booked
like to
and
donate.
I had my whole
Call
regimen set
Kyle,
out
get
that
him in
I was
here.
going to get my stomach cut out. But I couldn't tell them that.
Okay.
Okay, so this guy offered to help you, and you declined his help, right? And I think you said it kind of harshly. And then he came back, and he said, "Shit hurts." I misquoted him. I thought in my soul he said, "Shit hurts" and bomb ending with an A, but he didn't. And I was retelling the story to Arian, and that's how I said it. Anyone who knows me knows I'm not racist. And I thought that in the context of
That's the
quoting-
first thing racist people say, Woody.
Oh, suck a dick, Arian. That's not fair. That's also
being
what
real.
non-racist people say.
Nah, racist people don't say that shit.
Oh my goodness gracious, this is so unfair. You can't tell someone they're racist.
I'm not saying you racist, Woody.
I don't know. You're saying you act like a racist person or you sound like a racist person. It's just not.
No. Okay, so this could be a whole conversation about racism in America in general, which would be a big bag that we'd have to dive in,
Mhm.
which I'm not interested in with two white dudes. I mean, unless you're interested, then I would.
I'm not afraid.
But you're not afraid.
I got a question.
Shoot, family.
I wanna ask. How do you feel about Black History Month?
In what context?
As a general policy, like, do you feel like
It's not a-
Black History Month is a good thing, a bad thing, or like a thing that oppresses Black people?
You think Black History
How
Month
do you feel
oppresses
about
Black people?
Because, well, let me tell you. Like, it looks at it like this. Like, I feel like Black History Month is like white people's way of appeasing Black culture instead of just accepting Black culture as American culture. because Black history is American history. Like,
Yes, but traditionally, Black history has not been recognized as American history, and that's why it has to be.
but do you see like Black History Month as a bad thing because they isolate your history to 1 month out of the year instead of bring it in as American history like it should be?
Well, I think the issue is broader than that. I think the issue is you can't separate Black history from American history, right? And so, in order to talk about American history, you have to talk about Black history. So there is an issue with isolating it to a month. But if you want to talk about Black history, you would have to expand the catalog is not the correct word. What is the word I'm looking for? Curriculum. You'd have to expand it into an entire year's worth, like you do the rest of American history. It's not oppressive. It's an attempt to acquiesce to the pain that has been brought upon Black Americans. It's not oppressive, though.
Well, the reason I use the word oppressive is because handicapped people look at like handicap parking a lot as oppressive because they look at like I'm more talking about handicapable people, but they look at like all the little sections that you give them to make their life easier as a way of appeasing them, but not actually qualifying them as normal human beings.
Okay,
this is actually a thing. I'm sorry if this is.
I believe that's a
Well, it's a
minority
horrible
opinion.
analogy. It's definitely a horrible analogy, but I think that you're equating Black people to handicapped people.
No, it's not Black people to handicapped people. I'm talking about it's the same kind of thing where it's like.
Why are you putting down handicapped people, Arian?
I'm not putting down anything. What I'm saying is,
I don't know. It sounds to me like you're saying handicapped people are lesser, and how dare you compare them to me? I don't have that problem.
No, what that does is saying, okay, being black is a handicap. Handicap is not
we're not comparing Black to handicap.
And what that does is it says being handicapped is bad.
I understand what you're saying. What I'm saying is a bad analogy. There's a reason why it's a bad analogy, but
because you're insulted to be compared to handicapped people.
No, that's not why. Did Wings just hang up?
I don't know. There's a good chance it was an accident.
Okay, but we'll bring it back on. Hit him back up because it was just starting to get deep.
Do I need to? All right. Oh shit! Now I left the call. Fucking boomer shit right here, baby. He made me do it, people. He made me do it. I wasn't gonna. Bobby, is this alphabetical? So I made a group. How do we call a group? Chat. No, if I call one individually here, it makes me leave the call. I'm going to unshare my screen while I sort this shit out. So I don't share shit I don't mean to share. All right, I'm back.
He made another. Okay, there he goes. All right, so back to what we were talking about. So
you were insulting handicapped people by saying how dare you compare them to me.
Yeah, I hear you, Woody. So being handicapped is it's a demonstrable thing in juxtaposition with able-bodied people, right? Would you agree with that, or would you not agree with that?
Who are you talking to?
What does injuxtable mean?
No, in juxtaposition, meaning like
opposite
against, like so if you put this against this, like being handicapped, like if you have a disability, as far as like if you're in a wheelchair, or if you're paralyzed, or if you have some kind of disability, or if you have a surgery, right, that might be not permanent. It is what you have done is if you put it in juxtaposition, meaning directly against being black.
It kind of means compared to, with this idea that they're opposites, right? Like this black juxtaposed against white, tall juxtaposed against short. I was
bringing handicapped people up morally because like some handicapped people are against like the Handicap Association of America because they feel like it hurts their movement more than it helps. Whereas I was looking at like Black History Month as okay, we gave you a month. Now let's ignore your history the other 11 months of the year.
Well, see, that's what we fight for. I think that's what a lot of the lashback is against popular culture, is that it's not enough. And so
But that's
it's
what I
not
was saying. That's what I was trying to. That's what I was saying. Like you said, you were for Black History Month, but I feel like I look at it as oppressive because
it's not necessarily I'm for it. It's just that I understand it because pre Black History Month, we weren't looked at as equal citizens, and we probably still aren't to a lot of people. But it is something that has begin to bridge the gap and enter in the conversation of Black history in America. Does that make sense? So I'm not for it, because what's the antithesis of being not for it? It's not having it. Because if there wasn't a Black History Month, what would there be?
to me, it feels like you're settling though. Like I understand, like you've gotten this little bit, but you're afraid to lose what little bit they've given you in case, so you have nothing. When you should be pushing for having more.
What do you think that we're doing? Do you think that's not happening?
I think it happens, but at the same time, that the vehicle that is chosen for it to happen with is ignored by the masses for the most part. Just like Colin Kaepernick when he did the kneeling thing. Systematic racism.
We agree there. So if you think that God damn it, Wings.
I'm innocent. I did not do it. I'm not.
No, that ain't you. Wings. That ain't you. There you go. He back.
Wings, what happened there?
I don't know. It just keeps Arian says, "Oh snap."
Oh snap! That's so Discord. Like, it's not a solvable error that you could like. Oh, am I getting a bad connection? Are you low on bandwidth?
Last time it happened, everybody got kicked off.
That might have been my fault. I tried to call you back, and then I ended up calling you personally and leaving Arian, and yeah, I might have fouled that up.
It's all good, man. We all here now. But so to your point, what was you saying, brother?
Turn your camera on too, Wings.
He's on. I can see him.
Oh, you can see his camera.
Mm-hmm.
I messed something up here. Here we go. What was I saying? Refresh me, please.
So we were talking about Black History Month, and I think you were pitching the idea that by having a Black History Month, it's kind of patting Black people on the head as sort of, aren't you adorable? Here's your month, instead of treating them like everybody else and saying history is history.
The question you answered me is a hard question to answer on its face, because like systematic racism is the reason that their methods aren't working. Like you see Colin Kaepernick kneeling, they basically put him out as a martyr instead of embraced it. Because like, how is it a traitor to the American flag when the American flag stands for freedom, but it doesn't stand for freedom when you do it, right? You know, like troops don't go to die for a flag. A flag is an idea, it's a symbol. That what's behind the idea is what's more important, the people. And those people died to keep your freedoms, like freedom of speech, freedom to, protest and congregate and things peacefully. Mm-hmm. And when you basically have like places like the NFL that basically says, we're going to find people who kneel and, these protests, it can't be done. You get things like Portland, you get things like Seattle, you get these race riots that happen. Right? Because like you've tried the non-peaceful way. What's the other way to try? You've tried to do everything in their system. You tried to go to the courts. You tried to do the peaceful protests. Eventually you got to burn a Target down. Because actually America was founded by people that decided to throw fucking tea in the harbor. They got tired of being taxed without representation.
I struggle with this too, Wings. Like,
I don't. You said it all correctly. I'm unsure.
Let me lay it out. Like on one hand, it's hard to be in favor of burning targets, right? On the other hand, you guys didn't listen when they kneeled peacefully. You mocked him.
Like,
what'd Trump call him? Said, get that mother trucker off the field. Son of a bitch.
I was one of the players that kneeled, and he called us a son of a bitch.
Yeah, right? Listen, they kneeled peacefully. And you didn't like that. Now they're burning targets. You don't like that. I get it. What is it that you want exactly? Do you want them to protest in the privacy of their own homes? Will that make them happy? It won't make any difference. So, like, as much as it's hard to be for, Target's a big corporation, but, make it something smaller. Make it, somebody's
Target came
barbershop.
out and said, but Target came out and said, burn this motherfucker. We with y'all.
Interesting.
They made a public statement.
I didn't
They
know
said
that.
They said it's all good. You can find it. I mean, we can find it.
So
on the internet.
in
They got
Raleigh,
insurance companies.
like every little store, every restaurant, bar, coffee shop, etc., they had the windows broken that were on the same street. And there's a piece of me that's like, man, like wrong targets, right? Like wrong victims on this. These guys didn't do it. On the other hand,
sure, but what gets lost in these conversations is that's not the majority of what the movement is about.
Sure.
It's not about like, we want police reform, so let's burn down a building, right? It's a lot of frustration. It's a lot of pack mind thinking, which is not necessarily rational, right?
Are you going to tell Arian
it's a lot of that being involved. So a lot of that gets attributed to the movements, and so falsely attributed to those movements.
And a lot of that could be saboteurs, like people.
A lot of it was saboteurs. A lot of it was. There's videos of people that had nothing to do with Black Lives Matter movement setting things on fire.
There could be beside agent provocateurs, right? That's part of it. I think that we're talking about.
That's not new either, right? So COINTELPRO was a thing, right?
Wait, I missed a word. What's a thing?
COINTELPRO.
You're gonna have to educate me.
COINTELPRO was a CIA operative that spied on Martin Luther King, that tapped Martin Luther King's phone, that sabotaged a lot of the movements, and infiltrated a lot of the movements. The FBI killed Malcolm X. Right, so a lot of that was not COINTELPRO, but a lot of these government.
Can I interject here?
I didn't say. I'm sorry. Not Malcolm X. Fred Hampton. A lot of these government agencies have a stake in keeping Black movements sabotaged. That's a real thing.
Agreed. One thing that can happen. Let me jump in for a second. I'm trying to get in.
Right.
So an agent provocateur. This happens in Europe, and I'm sure it happens in America. What it is let's say you have a peaceful protest, and you want a good reason to end this peaceful protest. You put a couple agent provocateurs, bad actors, mix them in with the peaceful protest, and have those guys throw rocks. Now you've got the excuse you've been hoping for to break this thing all up and tear gas them, etc.
But I think what you're discounting is the fact that the government agency wants.
I'm literally explaining the government agencies do this. It's the opposite of discounting that. I'm saying,
yeah. I thought you were saying. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. So
yeah. No, you're right. You're
right. Sometimes, like I've seen it in Europe where elements of their outfits are their police boots or their, like their police jet. It's like, if you look carefully, they're wearing a bulletproof vest under that rioter outfit.
Right.
And you're like, dude, these are agent provocateurs. They've got the boots and the bulletproof vest.
And not only just agent provocateur, it's actually the agents, right? Like they're trained for this.
Yeah.
Like they trained for this, not to de-escalate situations, but to
give the police a reason to escalate. Yeah, to provoke it.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then there are also just, there's a Black Lives Matter movement who's trying to make a change. And then there are just people taking advantage of chaos. And it's easy to dislike Black Lives Matter because there's these chaotic guys who took advantage of the moment.
Of course. But that's always going to be the case, right? That's always going to be the case. You have a hive mind mentality that follow movements, and then you have people that actually understand the nuances of what's going on and why we are even in the streets in the first place. That's always going to be the case. But to get back to Wings' point, right? Of if Black History Month is oppressive or not, it's an interesting case. And why, to me, you feel like it is. I don't think we dove into that.
Yeah. So is Black Lives he said oppressive, but I bet patronizing would have been a word. Is Black History Month patronizing?
Well, I'm gonna let him speak for himself.
Well, I think he was asking you, do you look at Black History Month as patronizing?
Do I look at Black History Month as patron? No, I don't look at it as patronage. No, because when I look at political gains in this country, well, in this world in general, I don't look at it as a monolith. I don't look at it as microcosmic. I look at it as macrocosmic. Every single step towards understanding of diversity, of inclusiveness is a win. Like, we're not going to see equality in none of our lifetimes. We're going to die before that shit happens. But if it's more equal by the time we lay to rest than the time that we were birthed, then we did something correctly. Because this idea of racism and inequality has been a reverberating theme throughout our entire lineages as humans.
Let me switch topics here, if I may.
Shoot, family.
I was a Bernie bro. I am very for Bernie Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
Bernie Sanders was pretty much winning the Democratic nomination up until South Carolina, which is my home state. And Joe Biden has a lot of sway with the black vote, and South Carolina is a predominantly black state, right? As most southern states are. They have a large black culture. What is it about Biden that black people go to vote for that Bernie didn't have?
I mean, typecasting an entire black vote for a state, I think is dangerous. And I think it's it would be disingenuous. I mean, we can guess, we can give a hypothesis, but I think in general, because I'm a leftist and I voted for Bernie Sanders, and I still think he has the best policies that there was on the ticket. And so, so from my standpoint, I think that the black community is largely looked at as a democratic staple. But I think if you look at the values of the black community, they tend to bend more towards centrism than they do left. And that's what Biden represents, and that's what Obama represented. And so it aligns with their ideals more than it does Bernie Sanders.
So do you think that because Biden was the VP, that swayed more power with like centrist black voters than Bernie Sanders with like radical ideas?
I don't think it has anything to do with him being a VP. I think it has everything to do with, well, I take that back. I think
his association with Obama.
His association with Obama definitely had a part to play in it. But if you look at policies and values in their communities, I think that the black vote in general is more centrist than it is leftist, right? It's more centrist than it is left. A lot of the values that you wouldn't necessarily think is the truth, but it's the truth.
Can I jump in? So
jump in, Woody.
It's related to this Biden thing, and I try not to group people together. That's bad. But Stephon Jackson came out. He had a lot of, I think I got his name right. Got a lot of really negative anti-Jewish views, right? The NBA player, you probably follow this. And another guy, I think played for the Eagles or currently plays for the Eagles, had some really strong anti-Semitic views. Could it be that Bernie's held back by some anti-Semitic beliefs in the black community?
Could it be that Bernie's held back by anti-Semitic beliefs in the black community?
Yeah.
No, I don't think the black community is anti-Semitic, and I don't think this is a low-key hot take, but it is a because I grew up in the FOI or the NOI, right, the Nation of Islam, where Farrakhan and all these beliefs stem from. They're not anti-Semitic, right? They're a bit conspiratorial in their beliefs of Jews and their inner workings of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So the black community in itself doesn't think about, it's definitely not Stephon Jackson, it's Stephen Jackson. But,
thank you. I'm terrible with names. It's kind of my thing.
Yeah. So they're not inherently anti-Semitic. The issue is that a lot of their beliefs are a little bit conspiratorial, right? In my view, but
a lot of those conspiracies are like Jews own the banks, the Rothschilds pull all the strings. I mean,
stuff like that.
Yeah. So
stuff like that. But
you
that-
say it's
but
not
that's not-
anti-Semitic, but it seems that they have issues with Jews running Hollywood. You know, like it certainly fits that pattern.
Right. So it fits the pattern, but if you actually listen to them, that's not the sentiment. The sentiment is I actually have a clip that actually explains
This is what it
Farrakhan's
sounds
stance on
like
this,
to
and
donate.
he's very adamant about
He'll
this.
donate 15 subs.
But
at
and I'm not
PayPal
like
right
trust me,
now.
like I grew up in
5 subs
NOI,
if
but
you
like I'm
ask
not a
Arian
Muslim,
for one
right?
free
And so
N-word
I've parted
pass.
ways with the ideology, but I understand where and how they got their ideas. It's what they liken it to is the Jewish people that who they view as predatory in using their religion for divisiveness, using their religion for occupying land, using their religion for those kind of things, they view as bad, right? Just as they condemn Christians for doing the same thing, Catholics for doing the same thing, Muslims for doing the same thing. If you use a religion for evil or what they view as bad, that's what they have and they take issue with. Now we can debate all day about is there a Jewish conspiracy, right? Like that's what they believe. That's what they. I don't believe that, but it's not inherent in the Black community. Like it's not like
Not widespread, you're saying.
No, I don't think so. I think it's a subset of
A tiny
of
little
people.
subset. Okay. Yeah, it's just been getting a lot of press lately because Steven Jackson
Yep.
and
It'll always get
who's
press
the
because
Philadelphia Eagle? Can you help me with his name? Do you know who I'm
Deshaun
thinking?
Jackson. Deshaun Jackson.
I knew it. I should have just said it like I knew it. But yeah, those two guys. I
Somebody in
think
my chat
Deshaun
right
Jackson
here,
backed off.
somebody chat right here says he's trying to justify their hatred of Jews, and this is what I'm saying. Like I know these cats. I know Steven Jackson and I know Deshaun Jackson. Right? Like I know these cats. They don't hate Jews. Like it's ridiculous. They couldn't pick if you put 5 Jews in a line and 5 regular white folks in a line, they couldn't pick them out. So how do you hate Jews? Right?
It's tough though, right? Because when Charles Barkley scolded Steven Jackson, thank you,
Right.
and he's like, "Look, you can't. Like, we're trying to get people to treat us better. You can't fight hate with more hate. You have to stop it." He didn't come back and say, "No, you've mischaracterized me." He said, "Yes, I can. Speak on what you know." Something close
Right.
to that. And it's like,
Right.
oh, he doubled down.
And so that's what I'm saying. The conspiratorial view of Jewish people owning and running the country is a thing, but the way that they view that Jewish nature is not the way that you view that Jewish nature. It's not the same thing. What they view as think of it like you've heard the conspiracy of like the Illuminati, right?
Sure.
It's the can't see, can't touch thing, that conspiracy. And so it's like them, it's the they. And so they don't look at the average rabbi and be like, yo, you run the banks, fam. Like that's not it. It's
the Rothschilds way up there somewhere.
Yes, it's one of those like the Zeitgeist movie, that kind of conspiracy type of thing, where it's like they don't view all Jews as evil. They view a certain subset of people who claim to be Jewish as evil. And it's a very distinct and different thing where I understand how it can be misconstrued as all Jews are evil. And trust me, I don't believe none of this shit, but like I just understand where they come from, and their heart is not like they're not like all Jews are bad. Like it's not the same thing. And like it takes nuance. It takes nuance and it takes understanding, but we live in America and that's never gonna happen.
I had a question. I feel like I'm on trial here, but it's making me nervous. But the question is this: is it okay for communities to take care of themselves? Right. So if you have a gypsy community of some sort who take care of one another, or better yet, I had a coworker who was Jewish, and he told me he went to the doctor. The doctor looked at him, and I forget what his code word was. I think it started with a G or something. But I'll foul it up. He looked at him, and he's like, Goya? And the guy said, yeah. And then he charged him less. He charged him less for his services because he was a fellow Jewish
this
guy.
guy should be president, then wed, have a true
sorry,
Aryan nation.
My chat thinks you should be president, so we have an Arian nation. Jokes. Anyway.
Come on, kid.
Yeah, so this guy got a discount from his doctor because his doctor spotted him as a Jewish guy.
Called nepotism.
I don't think so. But anyway,
It's called nepotism.
nepotism doesn't just refer to his families.
No,
That
it has,
could be
it has
wrong.
nothing to do with the family.
No. Okay. So
Well, it's not distinct towards family. It's not just family. It's not exclusive to just family.
if a black person frequents a black business just because they're black, can a white person frequent a white business just because they're white? Can a Jewish person give a discount because someone's Jewish? Is it okay to have these bonds?
Sure, but you have to understand the dynamics in which America has been operating, right? Is it the same thing as if I own a gym and I say only males can work out in this gym? Is that the same thing as saying as a woman owning a gym and saying only women can work out in this gym? Are those the same things?
They seem exactly parallel to me.
You really think they're parallel, fam?
I think a woman
Really?
could get away with it and a man couldn't.
I
Woody,
agree
Woody,
with Wings
Woody,
who can get away with it.
Woody, do men feel ostracized and preyed upon in gyms by women?
Let me do a parallel, and I swear I'm not dodging your question. We went on this mancation, right? It was just the boys. We were all going surfing in Dominican Republic or something, right? One dude says he wants to bring your wife, and we're like, fuck your wife. That changes the vibe. When you put a girl on this mancation, suddenly it's like, I don't know, now we behave or something. Now we don't use bad words, like, because you bring in a girl with you. If there's a gym, right, and it's a bunch of guys who are trying to lift weights or fight or do whatever they're doing at the gym, and now it becomes like, I can see a world where a guy would say, this is just the boys' culture, this is just the girls' culture. I could see wanting that for reasons other than I hate girls.
Okay.
So yeah, when I hear this is a guy's gym, I think, oh yeah, I get it. He wants benches with ripped pads on them.
Okay, so I disagree, and what I would say is that we live in a society that has a hierarchical structure, a matriarchal structure, where men have usually been at the top of that, explicitly or exclusively or specifically.
Patriarchal.
Yeah, I'm sorry, patriarchal structure. Thank you, Wing. And specifically, white men have been atop of that structure. Okay, so if you have a gym that is specifically for men, and then you have a gym that's specifically for women, they are very different in their reasonings as to why they have segregated themselves from the general population. And if you don't understand those reasons why, I would just say that I don't believe that you have a grip on the reality and
That's so unfair.
Structure.
If you don't agree with me, then you're wrong. Right? Like that, you're laying out the terms of this.
No, I didn't say you were wrong.
Oh, I paraphrased you. You said...
No. Don't paraphrase me. Quote me. I didn't say you were wrong. I said, I don't agree. We have the same grip in the same... We don't live in the same reality.
You didn't say that. No, now you're paraphrasing you. You said, if you don't think this, then you don't have a grip on it. Like if you don't think what I'm telling you...
Let me retract. I'm 2 bottles of wine in. Let me retract. If you don't agree with this, I believe that we don't live in the same reality. Period. I don't think that we see the world the same way. I think that women absolutely deserve a space in that where they can lift and do squats and all without feeling like they are prey, because that's a very real concern for women when they go to the gym. Where it is not the case when they're men. It's just not the case.
Well, not that particular case, right? Guys don't feel like they're prey.
I would like to say this, that women are women's hardest critic. Like, men do sexualize women and put them out there, but I feel like women are what other women are. Like, men don't actively call women whores. Women do.
What? You bugging.
I'm not bugging.
You're super bugging. Men don't call women whores. What are you talking about?
I'm not trying to say this never happened, but I'm talking about in general. Women bring up bitches, whores, and like women's sexual status much more than men do.
Where do you think that comes from? It comes from women?
Yeah, it comes from like a women's like little hierarchy. Who can be the lead chick and things like that.
Wings is right. As a guy, I encourage whorish behavior.
I disagree wholeheartedly, but I hear you.
That horse behavior is good.
I have a couple questions related to race still. If
Go ahead.
You said you were part of the Nation of Islam for a while with Farrakhan, and you
Mhm.
also spoke on Malcolm X.
Mhm.
Malcolm X, I'm gonna give you a couple. I'm sure you know this, but I'm just gonna fill everybody else listening in. Malcolm X had a speech where he talked about how black people don't really own anything, even their names, because like Smith, Williamson, whatever the black name is usually handed down by whatever plantation they were a part of. Like they don't have their own last names or family crests like that because they were inherited from the white man because you took the slave master's name. You look at that the same way with religion because from outside looking in, black people are the only culture that don't have their own religion.
That's not true at all.
Name another one.
Have you ever studied any kind of African religions?
No, I have not. But most Africans I know are Christians, or Catholics.
You don't know all Africans.
Right,
Nobody knows all Africans.
Well, I mean, it's a generalized statement. There's three major religions in the world: there's Christianity, Judaism, and there's Islam. Right? Those occupy the majority of the belief in the world. But to say that there isn't a black people don't have their own religion, I think it's just it's a false statement. Number one. Number two, if you look at the transatlantic slave trade, the reasons as to why that is because the Africans that were enslaved were actually stripped of their religion. The colonization of Africa, they were stripped of their religion and said this, and the Bible was used as a tool to
control,
to colonize. And so it's not the case historically. So what I think you're trying to get at is, why do you feel that black folks in general still cling to a religion that was oppressive in general? Is that what you're trying to get at?
It's partially what I'm trying to get at, but another part of me is like, I didn't really take into account any religions that might only be in the eastern side of the world, because I never hear about them. It's not something we learn about. Like,
why do you think that is?
I do see a lot of like black people like in America that follow a religion that their people at a core isn't their own.
And why do you think that is?
Because they were brought in. They have a slave heritage. But at the same time, it's like, I wanted your opinion on that. Do you think black people should openly follow Christianity, or what is your opinions on that?
I think in general. So I view religion as I used to view it as detrimental, right? I'm what I would consider myself an agnostic atheist, right? Mm-hmm. I view religion in general as detrimental, but as I've grown in my own personal space, I think that it adds hope to human beings who are on the quest for why and what, as to why we're here. So I think if it involves any kind of legislation, I'm against it, because it's not, you can't prove it to be empirically true.
Hey man, Destiny
and
is
so
listening in
I
on
do
his
think
stream
that black
RN.
folks in general are more inclined
sure love to join this. It's
view
kind of his bread and butter.
Christianity, especially in America, as true, because that's what has been given to them. That's what has been. I mean, they literally cut out people's tongues. They took people's language, and they said this is the truth. They didn't allow people to read for hundreds of years, right? And so this has been forced upon our communities, and so we got brought up in this and say this is the truth, right? And so that has been. I mean, my mother grew up Catholic, for instance, right? Mm-hmm. She grew up Catholic, and over the years she realized it's not for her. But she literally got slapped with rulers in her wrist when she was young, and to this day she still has like residual.
So I muted myself so I could answer the Destiny thing. That, right? I love Destiny
for the mere reason.
He's really good at debating, and I feel like he'd come in here and own the conversation. Yeah, I was talking to my chat real quick. They keep trying to add more people to the call.
Do you think?
Yeah. So it's not that I'm against Destiny. I love him. I can't wait for him to come on PKA.
Of what I feel what black people in America have dealt with.
If he were here
with Christianity,
he'd be beating all three of us up in terms of.
And debating. That's what one of the main reasons of what you brought up with Malcolm X and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, as I like to call him, I don't want to disrespect him, is that they wanted to bring a religion to Black folks that was more catered towards us and our agenda, which it was, and I believe which it is.
Well, you're gonna really hate my next question.
Donate.
Go ahead.
Add Destiny to the call so he can act
brought up Malcolm
smarter
X.
Why
than
know the
everyone.
Destiny? What's the
Chat
Woody?
needs the lip. Ben Shapiro.
So, do you know Destiny at all?
He was on my podcast once.
Super cool guy. I love Destiny. I think he'd beat all three of us at once in a debate. I'm not sure I want that on the call. Do you want him? I can bring him.
I think he's cool folk.
I like him too. I'm happy to bring him on. I just thought it would change the dynamic.
Any new energy would change the dynamic, but I don't think it would be in a negative light. I think we're all pretty left here. I think we're just having a general discussion about politics and religion in America in general.
All right. Let me see. I don't think I have him as a...
Go ahead with your next question though, Wings.
Is you brought up Malcolm X, and like you I want to say incorrectly said Malcolm X was killed by this group that you were talking about that killed Martin Luther King.
I meant I misspoke, and I meant Fred Hampton.
But Malcolm X kind of gets picked as like Farrakhan and Elijah Muhammad, the people who basically pulled the trigger on the assassination. What's your feelings on that?
On what?
On Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam actually being the ones behind the assassination of Malcolm X.
I feel like I don't have enough information to make a summation on that. Either way,
it's the best answer then. Is it like nobody knows who actually did it, but like
there's speculations on each side. There's speculation from the government to the Nation of Islam to white folk to there's speculation on each side, and I haven't dove enough into it to even have a interesting point to it.
Oh, anybody got a more lighthearted topic? I'm out of the race topics.
You out of the race topic? We still ain't.
Yeah, we got interrupted.
I'm not asking questions to prove anything. I just want to point that out there.
Destiny.
This is just
we
me having
Kyle.
a chance to get a.
And don't forget, we won an N-word.
Seen an interview you
did
did
this night, or it was all for nothing.
On like Fox News. What's her name?
P.S. You still have
Tommy
one
Lauren.
pass in the bank.
Tommy
from
Lauren.
Daniel.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Like I wanted to ask these questions to you since I seen that interview because I felt like the answers would be good.
Well, they didn't really have anything to do with the interview, really.
The interview was more about Trump and like right wing, left wing, but like you were so elegant and eloquent on the podcast. I figured you could give me better answers than I could get from like the local guys around here.
Peepo Turkey.
Got you.
Because it's a hard thing to talk about in real life because people get emotional.
Well, yeah, I think that's the the farce in politics is, and I was talking about this on my stream earlier, but the farce in politics is that politics is just like differences of opinion, or like, yo, we just don't agree, and that's okay. Like no, difference in politics is actually moral wedges. Like we don't agree on life. Like we don't agree on very fundamental foundations of what I believe right and wrong are. And that's why it's so divisive. And that's why you see a race war bubbling. That's why you see culture wars bubbling in America, because people are starting to understand that, like, yo, this isn't just a difference of opinion. Like, you're against who I am as a human being.
I look at it more like this. You have the first black president in the United States history, followed up by a person that was a birth certificate advocate for Obama. And it almost looks like a slap in the face. You put in a game show host after the first black president. And I answered this earlier on my stream, like, I'd rather have Obama during a crisis than Trump, because at least with Obama, I felt like he was smarter than me. He would control situations better than I could personally control them. With Trump, I feel like I'm on the same level or smarter than Trump.
You think you could identify a picture of an elephant wings?
Yes, I could.
It's his dementia test that he keeps bragging about. Fucking my jokes are lost on you guys. Yeah, he's been bragging about how the doctors have never seen anyone do so well on a dementia test. And then you find out the questions, and it's like identify an elephant, a snake, and an alligator. Basic shit that just prove that you still have a brain at all. It's, yeah, it wasn't right to be bragging about that. The hardest question I think they found was count backwards by 7. Which is actually low-key hard, but you don't need to get them all right.
I think banging on Trump is low-hanging fruit. And so I don't do it. I don't do it too much.
I'm just worried about the upcoming election because I look at Trump as like more of the same downward spiral, or you have a puppet government. That's your two choices.
You think Biden will have a puppet government?
I don't think Biden is cognitively able to be a president.
That frustrates me.
He doesn't have the
Here's the scoop. Biden. So I've heard Joe Rogan describe Joe Biden as going into the woods in the darkness with the flashlight with dim batteries, right? That this just isn't going to end well. Fuck all that. Oh my God. All of us who've spent enough time on a microphone have said something stupid. They can easily put together a montage, certainly of Wings and I and maybe Arian saying dumbass shit, right? They do this to Joe Biden, and then it goes viral on Twitter again and again and again, and they just bang this narrative. They had John Kerry. John Kerry went up against George W. Bush, and George W. Bush had a weakness. He was just about a draft dodger. What he did is he used his political connections. His father was president, and he used those connections so that he could avoid the Vietnam War. Right. His grandfather was a senator. Goes on. And instead, he flew aircraft around Texas where it was nice and safe. And then he goes up against John Kerry, who's a legitimate war hero, right? Guy had 2 Bronze Stars and a Silver Star, or the reverse of that. The guy also had political connections. He was in the Navy on a boat, a big gray one, out to sea where it was safe. And he said, you know what? I don't think I'm doing my part. I'm going to get on these swift boats, go around the rivers, jump onto the mud, and chase bad guys, and get in there in the muck and be an actual soldier. And he did that, and he's a decorated, legitimate war hero. So what did they do? They swift boated him. They got out there and actually created this narrative where somehow W was the guy who was the stronger war hero guy. They pictured him in his fucking flight suit again and again. And John Kerry, who actually was a war hero, gets slandered as the guy who should be embarrassed of his military background. Now they're doing it again. You've got Donald Trump up there, who, by the way, there are legitimate questions as to his cognitive abilities. So what do? They take the worst moments of Biden and they play him again and again and again. How many times am I going to watch the same 45 seconds about the dude's fucking leg hair and that's how he got to know cockroaches or whatever at the pool, right? They just take that and they play it again and again and again and they beat this drum. Go watch a Joe Biden speech, an actual Joe Biden speech. Flick around it. Take a 20-minute speech and watch 10 different minutes of it. And you won't see this Joe Biden that they tell you that they'll see. He is not the idiot that they make him out to be. He's getting swift-boated.
I think you made a really good point just now.
From time to time.
I have never watched a Joe Biden speech. I've only seen snippets. And
the debates are going to happen. The debates are going to happen, and I think
But
Joe Biden, it's going to be eye-opening. I don't think so. I think people are going to be like, you know what? I thought Joe Biden was going to talk about how his leg hair stuck up. But chat just donated and said wrong.
So like those, I don't believe those things are mutually exclusive. I don't think that Joe Biden being incoherent is like a
right there. You stuttered for a second. They would take that, put it on a loop, and make it the Arian Foster is in cognitive decline.
Woody, Joe Biden is incoherent. It's not about a loop. Like, did you watch the Democratic debates?
Yes. Yeah, and he went 1v1 against Bernie Sanders for ages and looked fine. Right? This guy had
he looked fine because it took 2 or 3 debates in order for his team to give him cues as to how to act in front of a public crowd.
No, he did not look terrible during the debates. He did not have these moments that you're talking about. You're telling me I didn't watch the debates, but you can't tell me what I didn't watch. I'm telling you what I did watch.
I'm not telling you didn't watch it.
You told me to go watch them. That implies that I didn't.
No, I said, okay, I might have misspoke again. Again, 2 bottles of wine in. But I meant to say, I don't know if you watched the first 2 debates with Joe Biden. He's incoherent. He said a lot of one of the things, you can.
Are you muted?
You muted?
I'm muted?
Not anymore. I hear you.
Oh, one of the crazier things that he said which was live in a debate, was when he was talking about God, and I'm totally blanking now, but I'm paraphrasing, when he was talking about spinning records, and that's how young black kids learn words.
I remember that. And it seemed out of time, right? He was saying that they should turn off the TV, play records, have some family time together. Could have made it board games. It would have still sounded 1920s, right? I get you.
A lot of what Joe Biden says is that. And so this is like, listen, I'm not a Joe Biden. I think he's inequipped to run for president. I don't think he's coherent. I don't think he is knowledgeable. Well, I'll take that back. I do believe he's knowledgeable, but I don't believe that he has the capacity to do the. Honestly, to be quite frank, I don't believe anybody has the capacity to rule 330 Americans. Right? It's tough to do. Like, but in general, I think Joe Biden is a horrible candidate. I think he's a centrist. I think that he is acquiescing to leftist policies because he understands that's where the Democratic Party is moving. Right? So he has to backtrack on a lot of what he says. But in general,
Trump. That's one thing that bothers me about him. How he used to be anti-gay people until the party accepted gay people.
I don't mind switching positions for logical reasons, right? But what I do mind is switching positions because that's what the public wants.
Love playing
because
with
then it's not about your moral standing. Then it's about just keeping a place in your office, and to me that's evil as fuck. But a Trump and Joe Biden debate might be one of the worst shows that has ever been shown on American television. It will be a laughing stock all across the world. And it's going to be if they allow the debate to happen, given all this stuff. It's going to be horrible. Because either one of them cats cannot string together coherent sentences at one time without scripts. Off script.
I just find it odd that Biden is the best the Democratic Party can put up.
He's not. It's just what they want.
Destiny said to stop it.
I consider myself an independent liberal because I don't like
involved in this smooth-brained
with either party. If they ran Marco Rubio on the Republican side, I would have voted Republican this year.
What?
Rubio's your guy, huh?
But he's the only Republican I could consider voting for out of the Republican candidates.
Why do you like Marco Rubio?
Don't really I'd pick almost any Democratic candidate over that. I just don't feel like Biden is equipped enough to be a president. I just think he's old.
Politically, where do you stand as far as policy is concerned? Because to vote for a Trump or a Marco Rubio, and if you consider yourself left at all leaning, you're voting against your interests.
I'm really a one-issue voter, honestly. My one issue is universal health care. That's what my goal is.
Well, Marco Rubio is not your guy.
No, he's not. But I'm saying, but neither is Biden. I feel like if
Biden's
Republicans ran somebody,
this is what I don't understand about voters in general. Why do voters view their vote as this monolith, as this I'm either voting for this guy or not? Huh?
My vote doesn't matter. My vote never matters.
Why do you think your vote doesn't matter?
Don't.
I live in South Carolina. Is 85% Republican every time. My vote, I either vote Republican or my vote doesn't matter because of the way voting works.
No, I think it's the way demographics works. I don't think it's the way voting works.
Talking about states, they have electorals. Whoever wins the state wins all of the electoral votes.
Yeah, it's demographics. But see, I think that's the farce in conspiratorial thinking is like we are convinced that small wins don't matter. Destiny, what's up, my brother?
What's up, Dad?
How you been living, brother?
I just want to say my vote counts. Like if I vote, my state goes Republican for the last 100 years, with like 80-90% vote total. Does my vote matter in the current system?
So I think what you're saying is your vote only counts if you win. That doesn't seem right.
Sorry. Okay. Sorry. I was setting my.
Well,
thing
it
I think
doesn't matter. Like it's not even going towards a win.
I think he's just talking about the electoral college stuff since it's so heavily weighted against him.
I follow. Yeah, I'm keeping up.
Do you think that there's ideological wars to be won though?
I'm just saying, if they did popular vote, my Democratic vote in South Carolina would mean more than my Democratic vote in South Carolina now.
I think there's a chance that something can happen that makes the vote more fair. Here's what I think.
That's not going to happen without a civil war.
Let me finish. I think that the problem is Republicans benefit from low turnout votes, right? And sometimes when they're against things that are good for voter turnout, they're doing it from a place of sincerity. And sometimes they're not. Right? Sometimes they're just fucking suppressing it. They're putting not enough polling stations in densely populated areas because densely populated areas tend to be more Democrat. So they just, hey, if you're Democrat, it takes 12 hours to vote, suck a dick. If you're Republican, you can walk in and out. But no, we're not stacking the deck. We're just putting one polling area every 10 miles. Fair is fair, right? No, some areas need more, right? That's the gerrymander. This is a related thing, right? They mess with that. North Carolina, heavily gerrymandered. And it's not just an observation you make. It's a thing that they admitted to doing. But here's the thing. If the voting happened today, President Trump would get absolutely butt-fucked. And it is possible that the Democrats could take the Senate, the House, and the executive branch. It is possible the Democrats could replace a Supreme Court justice or two in the next 4 or 8 years. It is possible that they could make a change that makes voting more fair than it is now. Right now, there are more Democratic voters, right? But we still lost, right? Hillary's not president as evidence. But they can do something, not necessarily change the way electoral votes work, but maybe change the way that gerrymandering works. Maybe they can make that not fair because there are laws in place that says every vote should count. And if there's gerrymandering, you could argue that it doesn't. North Carolina, the Democrats have won like 3 times now and just keeps getting appealed and they don't make changes. But it can be changed. If Trump gets butt fucked, like would happen if the election was today, then this happens in a census year and changes can actually go down. It's possible. And that's why your vote matters. That's why your vote matters. Democrats need to win stuff they don't traditionally win, take a majority, and then hopefully they make changes for fairness instead of just doing what the Republicans did in reverse.
A couple things that are really important too is for people that live in those like really heavily red or blue states where they feel like their vote doesn't matter. 2 things to happen. One is that if states can become more competitive, the only way to know that is if people that think they're going to lose go out and vote. That's how you get to see like if a state could maybe be flipped. And then more realistically, sometimes there are these little pockets of like blue voters in certain red states where if enough people out there voting for president, maybe somebody decides to make a run for Congress, right? To be like a House like representative. They start running in certain districts because there are so many Democratic voters there too. So even if your state might be a lost cause electorally, it can still be valuable on like a congressional level.
Sure.
This is what it's.
And every so often, people who can't win. AOC
My neighbor
won.
wants to join.
Well, we have Lindsey Graham, which is one of the worst senators in the 50 states.
Lindsey Graham could lose.
He won't.
Did anything ever come out or go anywhere with the Gates stuff with him?
Harrison's running against him. He's going to lose in a landslide. I'll call it right now.
How's he polling? I thought Lindsey Graham was having trouble.
Lindsey Graham, Jamie Harrison is who he's running against. He's the Democrat. And Lindsey's not very liked in our state right now, but I guarantee he'll still win by a landslide.
Doug Jones lost.
This is the Senate guy who bragged about not being able to send an email.
I hear you. But Alabama has a Democratic senator. For now. I know he's not going to keep a seat probably. But like shit happens. Go vote.
Not impossible. Yes. I could probably make the Atlanta Braves next season if I show up for spring training. Not gonna happen.
Nah, they make the same things, bro.
They're both impossible.
No.
Impossible by nature, but
like I said, you don't think there's ideological wars to be won?
I can see where Destiny took it at, whereas like you could get like a person to run for like your local, chamber of commerce or like even a governor. But like at the same time, it's like South Carolina is a backwards ass state.
For now, right? States, heck, Texas is competitive. North Carolina has a Democratic governor. You know why? Because the Republican governor beforehand fucking stuck to his guns on keeping trans people out of bathrooms or something like that. And a state that always goes Republican was like, you know what? Screw this guy. He just seems like he's filled with hate.
I don't know if you've seen Henry McMaster, but he's rocketing South Carolina as #1 in the COVID hotspots.
Yeah, good to be.
Like
good.
His only like ridicule was he took it so you couldn't drink alcohol after 11 o'clock. Like COVID-19 is like a gremlin or some shit like that. This is a real thing. You can't drink alcohol after 11 o'clock in South Carolina right now.
Well, gremlins was science. What? Yeah, someone else did that too. North Carolina, I think, did that. We have an 11 o'clock drinking limit as well. I don't know why 11 helps with COVID. Like, you can drink. I don't know.
I think the idea is to get people out of the bar so they're not heavily intoxicated at 2 or 3 in the morning. Like, it's not.
How's that a COVID thing?
Even
does it make it harder to hook up afterwards if you have to leave at 11? I don't know. That's a COVID thing.
The ironic thing would be if people pack the bars earlier in greater like density because they're trying to get there before it closes. It could probably make things worse. Yeah. Did you ever follow this stuff with Lindsey Graham?
The gay stuff?
Yeah. Did anything ever come of that? Did just nobody care? Or
I feel like it faded away, right?
Right back. I gotta go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know if you know about. We had a senator called, well, not a senator, a governor called Mark Stanford.
Oh yeah, the hiker in Argentina, right? Yeah.
Oh, he got lost in the Appalachians for 7 days and ended up in Argentina. And they still voted Nikki Haley in, and then they voted McMaster in. Like, I don't think you could, as long as you got an R next to your name, they probably vote me in if I ran against Jamie Harrison.
Well, that's for sure true if Democrats don't vote.
Yeah.
Destin, do you follow this Epstein judge person? They killed her husband and her. No, I'm sorry. They shot her husband and killed her son.
Word.
Yeah, I've heard about it. Yeah, I mean, is something new developed? Or?
No, I guess I'm asking where you fall on the conspiratorial angle. So let me lay it out there for the viewers. Destiny's probably up to speed on the news, but here's the scoop. There's this woman. She's playing a role in Ghislaine Maxwell's trial. Her name is tough for me. It has silent letters. And she's also some sort of Deutsche Bank trial. Both of them are sort of high profile. She's a federal judge. Cool. This guy comes and he murders her son who answered the door, and he shoots her husband. He's dressed as a FedEx driver, but he's not a FedEx driver. He's in costume. And the judge herself runs to the basement and hides. He doesn't get her. And then he commits suicide next day, a few hours later, whatever it is. And it's easy to look at the suicide that Epstein did, work with me, and this guy who really scared this judge and then killed himself, they say, and say, man, it seems like if you're related to the Epstein trial, you sure are prone to suicide before you give up any names, or it looks dirty, dirty, dirty. Now, this guy, I guess, has a history of just hating women, and he's hated this particular judge for some time. And he has social media posts that I've never seen, but I've read about, saying that he's had a thing against her for ages. He actually had one case with her, and he won, but he still hated her because he felt like he didn't win fast enough. And there are people who buy into conspiracy theories that I find very far-fetched, but this Epstein stuff, I'm almost finding it. I'm sorry?
You talked about like her son getting shot and she hid in the bathroom, but you said her husband and her son got killed.
Did I say that? Her husband survived the gunshots.
Okay.
So, but this one, it is, it's almost not hard to see a conspiratorial angle. You have to sort of have your head in the sand to believe that Epstein killed himself in a place that's hard to kill yourself. And, that's unrelated to this judge on the Epstein trial who lost her son and had her husband shot. And it's like, man, it seems like there's some sort of powers sending assassins after people in this world.
No clue.
How can you have a clue, right? Like that's
that's just all speculation, fam. Hey, Destiny, I would like to pivot. So my chat keep asking me this question, and they sent me a video a while back. Yeah. I'm just curious,
I'll
man.
see you guys later.
No, I'm just curious, man.
Hit me up, yeah.
Are you in trouble for something?
No, it's not trouble, bro. Like these are all just ideas we expressing, man. So I'm just curious. They say you comfortable with saying the N-word. I'm just curious as to why that is, or why you feel like that's cool. I mean, being of the left, I would assume you on the left. I mean, I don't want to.
Yeah, I'm very left socially.
Yeah, Destiny, how dare you?
Yeah, so this is what it all came down to, but this kind of originated out of talks of like how to joke about things in a socially responsible manner. So the way that I kind of start this is that there are jokes that I know that I think are really funny, but I wouldn't tell them in a public setting because I don't really feel comfortable saying certain jokes in a public setting. Like, for example, there are certain like South Park or Dave Chappelle jokes that I think are funny, but I don't know sometimes how I feel about watching them with certain audiences because I don't know if they'll laugh at the right things or if they'll laugh for reasons why they shouldn't be. So from there, I basically say like there are jokes that I feel comfortable making privately, and then there are jokes that I feel comfortable making publicly. So this essentially got boiled down to like, would you ever tell a joke with the N-word in it? And I mean, I guess if there was one that like called for it, sure. Like and then like the entire argument basically revolves around, do you say the N-word privately? Like,
do you skip the N-word in a rap song?
I don't usually sing along to rap, but I mean, I imagine if I did, I'd probably just rap along with it. But I mean, I don't usually like sing along to rap songs or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I guess like if there was some like essential joke or whatever that had it as part of it, I would. I don't personally know any. Like, I don't say the N-word privately. But I mean, I guess if there was like a context appropriate joke, I don't think it's a big problem,
I'm just wondering because that's one of those borderline ones because it's like an artistic expression. If you changing the artist's original expression of the song.
Well, I mean, I don't know how much you lose out of the original song by.
Well, like there's some Little John songs where that's like 80% of the content.
Thanks for the sub. Thanks for the donation.
Sure.
I guess my question is like, okay, if y'all are socially left and you understand the harm that it does, what's the point in participating in those harmful?
I guess the question is. Yeah, I guess the question is like, what type of humor perpetuates harm, and are there different avenues through which potentially harmful humor can be expressed in ways that wouldn't be harmful? So like, for example, there are jokes that I would say about women around my girlfriend because she knows who I am and I know who she is that like would be like pretty bad to make publicly because I think they could further maybe harmful stereotypes against women or harmful things against women. But me and her know each other well enough. We know we don't hate women and she knows that I'm joking. So I think it's okay. Or I think there's like a lot of edgy humor, especially that like you can say them around, certain friends that you guys know that you don't have, or hopefully that you don't have these inherently negative thoughts. So in that case, like, yeah, I mean, there are certain jokes that are funny, but like doing it in a public setting is a little bit different.
Intent means a lot.
I don't know if I'd just say intent. I think it has to be a little bit more than that.
So more than intent, a little bit of intent and background and knowing who you really are.
Like
my question for Arian is this. If I was reading the Tom Sawyer book to you and it had the N-word in it, would you be like, no, Woody, you need to skip that part?
My intent my response would be, what would be the point of saying it to me?
We're reading the Tom Sawyer book. I'm doing a public read. This is what my Twitch streams are about. I read old fucking books all the time. I'm the old fucking book Twitch streamer.
But if me and you both know what it says, what's the point of saying it to me?
What's the point of watching a movie like Roots then?
Let's
wait.
Not pivot.
You didn't really do that. You didn't.
That's not a pivot.
I'll answer your Roots question, but answer my Tom Sawyer question. What is the point of saying it to me? If you're reading me,
I am reading the entire book to you.
Sure you are, but not every word equals the same amount of.
So that word,
Wings, give me a second to talk to Arian.
Hold on, Wings.
Wings, stop it. We tried to do this before, and you spent 40 minutes on some other thing. Not this time. So, if I'm reading Tom Sawyer to you, and then I hit the N-bomb, You
Right.
say Woody. No. You read all the words
So why
but
didn't you
those.
just say nigga right there? Why didn't you say nigga right there?
I know you hate it. I don't say it at all
So-
anymore because there are
Why
people.
would you say it while you reading literature?
Because it's, I don't know. I feel like otherwise to do anything else would be to misquote.
So all right. So this is why I feel about it. So like I'm not the word police, right? And I explained this to you when you said it on your podcast when I was there, right? I'm not the word police. Say whatever you feel. I'm not finna. I really don't feel any kind of way about it, honestly. My position on it is if you're a kind of white person that says that, I just disassociate myself with it. I just leave the room. I'm gonna leave. I'm not beefing with you. It is what it is. But if you could understand the context of us talking about it in an informal way, and you can say the N bomb, but you're reading it in art or literature and you have the cognitive wherewithal in the informal way to say N bomb, but not in the literature sense. To me, you're just using that as a scapegoat to say it.
No.
Here's
Here's what happened. Stop it, Wings. Here's what happened, Arian. Stop it, Wings. Since my conversation with you, whatever that was, 18 months ago, 0 times, never ever say the word. That's it. Because I feel like my takeaway from that is there is no context in which it's okay. Having said that, there's almost a tie-in to what Destiny was saying, which is like, hey, when I'm with my girlfriend, I might make a misogynistic joke because she knows who I really am and she knows that that's not where I am. And it's kind of funny in that context that we can both laugh at it. That's kind of how I feel with my PKA audience, right? I've made 3,000 videos. I have like thousands and thousands of hours with these guys. They know me. And I feel like it's not too far from Destiny and his girlfriend, and that there's like a context and a history in there in which they don't view me through this lens of like an unknown guy. And I misquoted a guy. I was wrong. But in what I thought I was doing was accurately telling his story. And what I thought the N word was there, by the way, it's the one that ends with A, if that makes any difference. It like, okay, so there's a Harvard study and it's the asshole rule, right? And their thing about hiring new people is that if anyone in the interview process says this guy is an asshole, they don't hire him. Now, they address the word asshole. They're like, look, we tried to beat around the bush on this. We tried to say jerk. We tried to say silly head. We tried to say stinky pants, but none of them meant the same thing as asshole. Asshole means something in particular. It has a connotation to it that jerk lacks, right? And as he explained it, I was like, all right, I see what you're saying. So when I was quoting this guy, and he said, he didn't, but I thought he did, shit hurts, brother, then I thought without that, I wasn't conveying the essence of it. Like there was a deeper sincerity, a further pain that I thought I was including by having that word on there. And that's why the quote happened like it did.
Got you. So because I would consider you, and you have described yourself as socially left, you understand that certain social groups have certain colloquial lexicon that they feel comfortable calling each other, right? So like if I'm talking to women, like I'm talking to a woman and I call her a bitch, it's not the same as if another woman calls her a bitch. You understand that distinct difference. Am I wrong in assuming that?
I think that's fair. Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
Okay, so to me that's a microcosm of what the word nigga means towards black people, right? It's nowhere close to the same, but it's a microcosm of getting people to understand how there is a difference. And so to me, if you cool with saying it, because I think we all grew up being a little bit bigoted, right? We all grew up being a little bit discriminatory to things that we were not privy to, especially pre-internet people. Like I think all of us here were pre-internet kids growing up, right? And so whether it was a homosexual slur or another racial slur, like I can get why that was normalized in your group.
Okay.
But as you grow up, become a grown man and understand how those words affect other demographics, I think it makes sense to me to curve your desire to say that word, because it just shows empathy towards those causes. Like the homosexual slurs, right? I grew up saying that all the time, but there became a point in my life where I was like, it doesn't serve me saying it, even personally. There's no joke. It's not funny to me anymore, right? And so it just doesn't serve me to say that stuff anymore. And so I may be different. I may be a SJW. I may whatever you want to call me, but I just consider myself empathetic towards people, right? And it's like I can find another adjective to call somebody whatever.
Does context matter at all? I feel like I'm arguing for it, and I really don't want to argue for it. But let me lay it out though. Let me finish it, right? Like if you and I are old friends, we've been hanging out for 15 years, you know, whatever, we're tight. And I say, like, sup, bitch, it's been too long, right? That means an entirely different thing than, like, yo, bitch, who you think you are, right? Same word, different context.
Sure, but whoever you're referencing is not the representative of that demographic.
Well, what if it was... it does seem weird that I wouldn't say that to a girl.
That kind of hurts your argument.
I hear it. Well, look, yeah, but I'm being honest in my argument. I'm not going to claim that. Yeah.
Well, I think this. I think this is the issue. The issue is this: Black folks are very unique in the sense that their pejorative adjective that has been placed on them, they have then flipped, and it is one of the most desired words to be used because of how we use it. It sounds fucking cool. Hip hop and rap is it's the biggest genre in the world. And so it sounds cool. And I think people just want to say it because it sounds cool. Because think about how many other pejoratives of discriminative of minorities that have been discriminated against that are out there. And how many are used daily in your lexicon just because? It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen, but you just I think you're reluctant. I think you're for sure, but I think you're reluctant to admit the fact that you just want to use it because it sounds cool.
I think I told you the truth, and it's not fair to insert my thoughts and what you think are my thoughts into my head. I when I told the story of the asshole rule and how, you know, when he said "shit hurts, brother," and it lacked the woundedness that he had in his voice without the full quote, which was a misquote. That was what I was doing there. It wasn't me trying to be cool. Like I felt like I was taking a risk.
We ain't talking about asshole though. Those are two different things.
We are, but the whole point of the asshole story was that sometimes substitute words don't mean the same thing. You know, that was the point behind that, and that's what I was doing with brother. We'll say, you know, it doesn't mean the same thing. If I had said that, it would have lacked what I thought was this like wounded response where like, man, I was trying to help you, and the way that you rejected my help hurt me.
And you really thought that was the best way to convey that message? Honestly,
it was literally what he said. Now,
but
again,
you thought that was the best way to convey that message from you.
I think that there are times where I don't know what media you're familiar with. Have you ever seen the show Atlanta?
I've seen like a few clips. I've never really watched it though.
Okay, so there's a joke. So you would say that like a white guy saying it with a soft A is unacceptable too, I imagine. I think that's what I heard earlier, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so there's a joke in Atlanta. There's a few of these that I kind of.
I don't want to make sure. I don't. What did you say?
This is what it sounds
would you
like.
you think that it'd be bad for a white guy to joke using the soft A version of the N-word as well, right?
Censoring Mark Twain is not understanding.
I think it's more nuanced than that. It's not that I deem it bad.
Racist, Woody. It's purely idiotic.
I wouldn't place a moral equivalence on it, right?
Well, I just mean like you should avoid it. You shouldn't do it or whatever, right?
I think if you're any kind of empathetic human being, you would.
Sure. So there's a joke in Atlanta where the main character I guess I haven't seen the whole show. I've just seen a lot of clips. So the main character, I guess, is perceived as like a more suburban or middle class black guy, and a white friend is telling him a joke, and he ends the joke with like a soft A, and the black guy is like, "Holy shit!"
What is a soft A?
As opposed to ER.
Is there a hard A? Why is it a soft A?
Okay, with the A.
All right.
Okay, but he
I mean,
ends it.
it's just the interesting description why we call it a soft.
Well, I've heard
A.
like hard ER and then the soft A is these are the
I've
two.
heard
that I
ER
hear.
and I've heard A, but the soft A, that's new to
Oh.
me.
Okay, then the A without the adjective. But anyway,
Okay.
so the white guy uses the A version of the N word, and the black guy is a little bit taken aback. He's like, okay, what? I kind of shocked you said that around me. And then later on, either in that episode or a later episode, that suburban black guy gets his white friend to repeat that story, but now he's around more like stereotypical non-suburban black guys, and he notices that when his white friend repeats the story, he doesn't say it with the A. He leaves that word out completely. That's like one example where I see like I don't think that joke works unless you have a white guy like saying the N word even with an A. It feels like that joke just doesn't work. So then the question would be like, should we eliminate all those types of forms of humor, even when it's done like in a black show and what is kind of like a socially responsible way? Should all of that disappear, or are there times where joking about things in a slightly more edgy manner and like a socially responsible way is possible? Or do you think it's impossible to do it?
I mean, is this
Thank you
not,
for the subs and
correct me if I'm
donations,
wrong,
by
but
the way.
Is this not
I
what
appreciate it.
conservatives argue about with cancel culture? And
It's
isn't that
possible.
what they say?
Well, I mean, cancel culture is an entirely different concept, though. I just mean, because we can go through. There's episodes of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. There's Dave Chappelle skits. There's like a lot of jokes that involve racial humor that I think are done in ways that aren't like racist. And then the question is, because this is why I have my private language stance, because the alternative to that is that you have to eliminate all of these forms of humor. Just need to go completely, and I feel like you lose a lot there. And I'm just curious if you. Yeah.
you lose a lot of humor if you don't say nigger.
I mean, not me particularly, but I think there's a lot of there's a lot of humor that can be done in an irresponsible way that could be done responsibly that you would lose. Yeah, without that, you would lose almost the entire Chappelle show, right?
Lose a lot of Chris Rock work.
We would lose almost the entire Chappelle show. Now I don't know how you feel about it, but like
we're talking about black folk.
We're dancing
sure,
on the
but like
TOS
even he
line
quit.
with
One
this
of the reasons why he
conversation.
quit his show was because he felt like he was getting the wrong type of laughs. He was worried that some of the humor that he was doing wasn't socially responsible when he was talking to Oprah about it.
That's to my point, though.
Yeah, but my
No,
question.
it wasn't what he was saying. It was what specifically quoting Dave Chappelle was. It was like when I was doing a skit, I saw white folks laughing at me rather than with me, and so that's a very distinct. And that's to my point.
Which skit is this? Do we all like you guys have a particular one?
Well, this was an unaired one. He was talking to Oprah about.
Oh, okay.
It works.
And so to my point is you're saying I think we lose some of that humor. Like, does Destiny lose his humor if he just takes nigga out of his lexicon, out of his verbiage? Does that lose some of how funny you are? I don't think so.
Arian, you can't say that word.
I can say it whenever I want.
You're saying it on my Twitch channel.
They ban you on Twitch.
Yeah, you gotta get us all banned. Knock it off.
They ain't gonna ban you. I say it on my Twitch channel. I mean, I might not be big enough, but they ain't gonna ban me, fam. But I know people.
I have an army of trolls that will use this against me.
I got you, Woody. They ain't gonna say nothing to you, fam. Anyway,
I don't think it's fair to hyperbolize.
I believe I just got a hood pass, chat.
I don't think it's fair to hyperbolize it. Like I'm not going to lose all of my humor if I get rid of like racial jokes. But there is an element.
Hyperbole though. That's not hyperbole though.
Well, but you're making it sound like I lose all of my humor if I get rid of racial jokes. Like, no, I still maintain most of it. But there is some humor, of course, that you lose. Like there are some jokes that are like racialized or sexist or whatever that you necessarily lose. So the question is whether there's any of those are worth protecting at all. I guess is the question.
Are they? That's the bigger question. Are they?
Mm-hmm. I think they are. I would say that they are. I think that they can be done in a socially responsible way. But some people would say that.
I would like to put it like this way: if you consider yourself leftist, the whole idea is to look at every person as a human being and not as race. And if you got to lose like
I disagree with that wholeheartedly. Actually,
the problem you can't look at everybody as an individual human being when we spent a lot of society looking at individual.
The only way to truly get rid of racism is to stop.
We're segregated, Wings. Regardless of how you feel about it,
we're segregated right now, but to get to where you want to be at, you got to take segregation out. Instead of looking at you as Arian fostered the black guy, you're Arian fostered the human. That's the only way racism gets defeated. And to do that, you got to slowly break the cultures and meld them into one.
And so it's call everybody a nigga.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
With the A, he means.
Well, if you call everybody one, isn't that circle back around to fair again?
No, I don't think.
No, Woody, that was hyperbole. I was joking. That's
if I call Destiny one, is it still bad?
Yes,
Probably,
Woody. Yeah. Okay, so listen. Do you think that word has been used as a pejorative to put down a specific race in this country in a way that is unique?
Yeah, I'm goofing. Arian.
Wait, actually, that joke that you just told only worked because you said the N-word. I mean,
I didn't say it.
No.
You're talking about me.
Oh, I missed it. Yeah. I think I didn't follow. My bad.
Of course, right? But what's interesting to me